afternoon. I'm Constance Sayers. I'm the president of Government Executive Media Group, and I will be your host for this event. On behalf of the Department of Transportation, it's my pleasure to welcome you to today's event, Final Pitches for the Department of Transportation's Smart City Challenge. The U.S. Department of Transportation has pledged up to $40 million to one city in order to help define what it means to be a smart city. The selected city will become the country's first city to fully integrate innovative technologies such as self-driving cars, connected vehicles, and smart sensors into their transportation network. I'd like to recognize our underwriters for this event. Without them, it just wouldn't be possible to put on an event like this. Amazon Web Services, Autodesk, Mobileye, Sidewalk Labs, and Vulcan. Thank you very much. I also want to recognize Route 50. Who will be hosting the live stream for today's event. Just in case you wondered, we have 2,000 viewers outside of this room, and we have several viewing parties set up all across the country. So in case you're not familiar with Route 50, Route 50 is a digital publication from Government Executive Media Group, also the publisher of Government Executive. We cover news, technology, innovation, and best practices in the state, county, and municipal governments across the United States. Route 50's editorial team has covered this challenge from the beginning, and we have detailed, in-depth profiles on each city on route50.com. So I encourage you to go there to see all of those. It's great stuff. Before we begin our program today, please take this opportunity to silence your cell phones, but don't put them away. We want you to, be very interactive. Tell us how we're doing. Give your comments or suggestions via Twitter at #SmartCityPitch and #DOTSmartCity. Again, that's #SmartCityPitch and #DOTSmartCity. And now it's my pleasure to introduce the U.S. Secretary of Transportation, the Honorable Anthony Foxx. Anthony. Say a few words about you. Anthony Foxx became the 17th United States Secretary of Transportation July 2nd, 2013. At the U.S. Department of Transportation, Secretary Foxx leads an agency with more than 55,000 employees and a budget exceeding $70 billion. The Department of Transportation oversees air, maritime, and surface transportation, and the Secretary's primary goal is to ensure that America maintains the safest, most efficient transportation system in the world. So now I'm going to say and welcome Mayor Anthony Foxx, which you and I had the great pleasure of meeting at the Democratic National Convention back in 2012. So
thank you so much. Thank you very much. Let's give it up. So welcome everybody. This is not normal government space, and this is not a normal government challenge. And I'll talk about that in a few minutes, but let me start by giving some thanks to the Government Executive Media Group for hosting us today and for the great sponsors that have been involved in supporting not only today's event, but the challenge overall. Let's give them one more round of applause. Before we get into the presentations, I am pleased today to also announce a new partnership with the Smart City Challenge. We now today are announcing that AT&T has become a sponsor of this challenge and will be providing the winning city with over $1 million to help the winning city implement V2V technology, or for those of you who are not transportation junkies, vehicle-to-vehicle technology. So we're very excited about that partnership, and we want to thank AT&T. So let me set this up by pointing out that an innovative challenge such as this does not happen without leadership. And President Barack Obama's charge to our department and to our country is to do everything we can to reinvent and build stronger a 21st century transportation system. And the President has given us that broad challenge, and one of the offshoots of that challenge is this Smart City Challenge. Let me also say that we have been doing some work at the department to try to understand the dimensions of the challenges we face over the next 30 years. There's a report that we have drafted called Beyond Traffic, and it's about 322 pages. It is a page turner for all of you who like to read. And what that report starts to tell us is a pretty dim view of transportation over the next 30 years. We're going to have 70 million more people competing for space on our roadways, on our railways, on our runways, at our ports. We're going to have 45% more freight volume to move around our country, 65% more trucks on the road. We have the ever-present challenges of climate change. We have the possibility that technology can help us close the gap a little, or maybe a lot, on addressing things as varied as congestion, again, environmental factors, improving quality of life. But across the globe, as more countries and more cities talk about what a smart city is, there's a lot of philosophy, but what does it really mean? And that's what we've begun asking ourselves through this challenge. We began the challenge back in December when we issued it to mid-sized cities across the country, cities big enough to have complicated transportation challenges, but small enough such that a grant of this size could make a dent. And we were surprised that when we issued this challenge in December, we asked cities to send us their 30 best pages on how innovation and technology could play a role in addressing their challenges. 78 cities from across the country applied. That means that 78 cities took the time to imagine the future in the ways that we want them to start reaching for. So we were able to down select, very difficult, by the way, so difficult, in fact, that we down selected from 7 cities when we initially intended to down select to 5. And this month, we endeavor to pick the winner of the Smart City Challenge. But instead of doing this in sort of a closed, smoke-filled government room, we decided to open up the consideration process and let the public see and hear what we see and hear about these 7 dynamic communities that have their own challenges that are unique to them and their own solutions that they've tailored in reaction to this proposal. I'm excited about this, and I think this is not only a statement in the United States, it's a statement to the world that as we become more densely populated, as we have more challenges with moving goods that are so needed in the global economy, as we grapple with climate change and as we have this wave of technology ready to enter into transportation, that now's the time to start figuring out how it actually works, how we actually can apply it to solve problems for real people. One last point I want to make is that when we define a smart city, one of the things that we have to think about from the very beginning, and these mayors have all talked about it, and you'll hear about it from them, is that a lot of times technology gets deployed to those who are best able to afford it first. And I happen to think that one of the dimensions of a smart city is one that thinks about everybody at the beginning, one that creates access points for everybody from the beginning. And I think all of these applications in various ways speak to the way that we can define a smart city as technologically advanced, but also advanced in terms of reaching every single person in a given community. And so, what is a smart city? Let's see.
Secretary. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, I have the honor of introducing our 7 finalists. From the city of San Francisco, Mayor Ed Lee. From the city of Austin, Mayor Steve Adler. From the city of Portland, Mayor Charlie Hales. From Kansas City, Mayor Sly James. From the city of Denver, Mayor Michael Hancock. From the city of Pittsburgh, Mayor William Peduto. And from the city of Columbus, Mayor Andrew Ginther.
Ladies and gentlemen, the city of San Francisco.
San Francisco is one of the most transportation-rich cities in the country, but we've got some immense issues and challenges. We've got the great land use, we've got the great street design, and people are coming and using transit, but it's overwhelmed. At the same time, the people that are driving are finding it really hard to get around the city. Too many people are getting hit by cars and they're getting killed. We also have a population of our city that can't afford to get around, or they physically are not able to get around.
Everybody can benefit from increased mobility, reduced travel times, and reduced costs. That time in travel is time that people aren't spending with their families or they're not spending at their jobs.
In 2000, I had a stroke. This is what put me in the wheelchair. This is my car. This is my baby. I'm not a sit-at-home type person. I'm out most of the time, constantly doing something.
No one solution is going to help make our city smarter. We can't focus on one corridor or one street. Our Smart City Challenge proposal is really one that we think is holistic. We're focusing on smaller pilots across the region, the city, and particular neighborhoods. From an integrated mobility app that can allow you to route, book, and pay, to collision avoidance technology on our largest vehicles, free Wi-Fi in the neighborhoods, improving bike sharing, car sharing, and electric vehicle charging access in the neighborhoods. Having a street with 5 lanes of traffic is actually not helpful to anybody. We're trying to rebalance our streets for people who are walking, cycling, taking transit, and sharing.
So if we can figure out a way to get people around in higher occupant vehicles, you can fill gaps in the transportation network. You can provide services where we're not currently providing services.
And we reduce the need for parking, which means we can start converting some of our parking structures into affordable housing. And then we're going to create a community challenge. We're going to invite the neighborhoods to say, I'm ready for this. Neighbors will be able to reconnect with their neighborhood, shop locally, and really help reinvest their local dollars in their neighborhood.
My husband and I both decided to get rid of our cars. We've gotten this big old cargo bike with a little bit of electric motor to help us get up the hills. We've done a real good job of just taking advantage of what our neighborhood and what our city has to offer and how we can just get everywhere we want without a car and doing it that way.
This city is only 49 square miles, and every time a car goes down, you're contaminating your 49 square miles. So you need to get people out of cars and in some clean vehicles.
From the day the cable car was invented right here in San Francisco to today when we are hosting 12 companies that are testing autonomous vehicles, we are a leader in transportation technology.
And with some of the nation's top data analytics programs and researchers on our campus, the University of California, Berkeley can lend immense support in helping San Francisco meet the Smart City Challenge.
We have a society in our city baked in of early adopters who love to learn, test, and play new ideas. That's our culture. We have the ecosystem of all our providers, the strongest support network from our universities, and we have the ability with all of our different topographical neighborhoods in our city to really test this in different applications. We should be able to scale it from a neighborhood across the whole city to the rest of the cities around the country, and then ultimately around the world.
Mayor Ed Lee.
All right. Okay, thank you. Technology works here. Well, first off, Secretary Fox, to you, the team, to President Obama, thank you very much for allowing us to respond to this wonderful national challenge. And I also want to say thank you to each and every one of our mayors. I love working with mayors because we get things done. And in this particular challenge, I want to say a big thanks to the team that you formed because working together, this has been a real catalyst for our city, a catalyst for the entire Bay Area. And what's most important is what Secretary Fox has said earlier. It's not just the technology. I think this opportunity allows us to exhibit the kind of values that all of our cities share. And the values today that are number one is equity in our city, and making sure that technology not only is grounded in equity, but that anything that we do and the things that we create welcome everybody in. Now I've got, and we have a proposal here before this body to evaluate, and we've worked very hard at it, just like the other mayors have, and we're very proud of it. Shared, autonomous, affordable, connected vehicles. Now, how does that kind of special smart city network appeal to a value like equity? Let me give you an example. Today, you ask anybody who's working class or low income, how much do they spend on the car payments? What do they spend on gas? What do they spend on parking? And you start realizing that if you've got a network system in the future, a transportation in the future that will help create a workforce in the future, you've got the ability to say, that money that you spend on that vehicle right now can be transferred over to your education or to your health care. This is what equity means in the broad sense. And it's a very different approach to transportation. And I think transportation in the future is no longer from getting from point A to point B. It really is how people connect to the city that they love in a very broad sense. This is what our proposal will do. And we'll have goals. And in 3 years, Secretary, our proposal will translate into a minimum 10% reduction in traffic fatalities. Safety, big, huge value. 10% reduction in the amount of cars where a single driver is seen. 10% in emissions reduction. 10% in freight collision reduction. All of these focuses we have, and we are wanting to deliver on that. And when we approach this, not only have we approached it with the kinds of ideas and technology we have in mind, but we have a community engagement process using University of California at Berkeley and all the associate divisions of it to allow us to help engage our communities in a culturally competent way, to make sure that their problems are the ones that we're solving, and to make sure that we can get to a solution with them as opposed to imposing a transportation network on them. This is our process. We also have a collaboration of companies, and here's what your $50 million catalyst has done for us. We have translated that today, and it's still growing, into a $200 million investment. We have over 70 companies that have already pre-pledged to work with us. Should we be the winner of this? And they'll probably work with us if we aren't, but they want to have the improvato of being a national model for everyone, just like what we're using with Berkeley to document and to transcribe and to make sure that we have a playbook for any city across the country that wants to be a smart city. This is what we're doing with Berkeley as a partnership. But with the 70 other companies, and they include companies like Google and Uber and Lyft and Zoosk, companies like Ford Motor Company, who's offering us an opportunity to have late night shuttles that are connected up, because 40% of the people that work in San Francisco come from some other place. No different than a lot of our major cities. They come from every other place. So we understand that transportation is a regional challenge. And that's why we have partnerships that will also bring equity to millions of other workers, not just in San Francisco, but the entire Bay Area. This is what this catalyst has done for us. And we've leveraged the $50 million to an additional $150 million. We know that there'll be even more as an announcement is made that there'll be even more investments of not only technology companies, but nonprofits and all the other parts of our society that want to be engaged in a transportation network system that is going to be affordable and accessible. Today, we have free Muni for youth already. Our young people ride Muni for free. Our seniors and our people with disabilities ride our Muni system for free. We want to extend that important value using this technology and imagine that we can get to even more communities that are find it very difficult or unaffordable to even use our current public transportation system. This is our future. This is why, and I think this is the best example of why transportation of the future can actually be an equity builder, an equity creator. We think now, with this particular goal in mind, with this program we have, is that transportation will be less of a barrier and more of a creator of equity in our city. This is how we're approaching it. We begin with our values, and then along comes the technology about how to get that done, and a community engagement process, and a public-private process that will benefit everyone. We look forward to this, and again, I am thankful, not only, Secretary, to you, the team that has made this possible, but also President Obama, who's called out with his office the challenge to all of us to do even better and greater things in the country. And I look forward to presenting this to many more American cities across this country so we can have the benefit of technology, but at the core is the values of equity, of sustainability, and making sure that we have safety at the front end. Thank you very much.
The city of Austin, Texas.
Hola, I'm Gerardo. I've lived here all my life, born and raised in East Austin, and I get around the same way I got around 20 years ago, by bus on Capitol Metro. I've seen Austin double in size. It hasn't been easy for this town to keep up, but that's changing. Our job is to help all people connect to opportunities through transportation, and to do that, we have to be a smarter city. We need to build on what we've already done with technology to help connect our travelers. But what does that look like? Perhaps it's an app that lets travelers plan, purchase, and schedule a complete trip across multiple modes of travel. Or maybe it's large-scale fleet electrification, bringing people and goods from the airport to downtown while reducing emissions. Smart infrastructure moves people and goods more efficiently and safely. We need to innovate new mobility solutions for people to get to their jobs, their school, their doctor, and the grocery store. But the great news is we have the talent to do this. Support from the Smart City Challenge will help us put that talent to work, and here in Austin, we can produce solutions that will help the entire country and maybe the entire world.
I'm Joseph, one of the thousands of tech entrepreneurs in the greater Austin area, trying to enjoy all this great city has to offer without dealing with the painful commute that comes with it. In Austin, we're trying to accomplish in 10 years what other cities have had over 100 years to do. We went from being a small town to a big city in the blink of an eye. Now we have to catch up, and we will, by being a smarter city. We're looking at ways to create an ecosystem where new applications can be rapidly tested, shown to work or not, and help advance smart city efforts all over the country. And we can build on Austin's strong foundation in data science by creating a data rodeo where public and private developers can plug into and innovate new user-focused mobility solutions. It's ideas like these that will change the lives of every single person living, working, and visiting Austin. And we can't wait to get started.
Hello, I'm Patricia, and I believe the way you find out what people want is to ask them. That's why it's important that our Smart City team has thought so much about engaging with people and giving them tools to learn how to use better mobility options that can close the gaps they face in their lives. Tools that work with your smartphone or without, if you have online banking or not, if you speak English or another language. Tools that work at our smart stations, mobility hubs where people in all kinds of neighborhoods can get access to the services they need to succeed. Tools that make automated or connected vehicles beneficial to everyone, not just early adopters. Tools that help break down barriers, because it's about a lot more than just moving people around, it's about moving people forward.
Mayor Steve Adler.
Secretary Fox, you know, this has been a fascinating 6 months. The team has done an incredible job. When I go back to the beginning of that time, the very first time you spoke to us as a group, you asked the question, you introduced the challenge by saying, what is a smart city? You said that you've heard a lot about smart cities, but you've never seen a smart city. This challenge has been all about answering that question. You know, over the last 6 months, like everybody else, we have spent hundreds of meetings, hundreds of participants, hundreds of partners, hundreds of community members, thousands of hours. I've traveled with you to the West Coast and to the East Coast and even to Northern Europe. This challenge has been about answering that question, and I'm going to take a stab at it now. And I'm going to talk about 3 things that I think are particularly relevant for today. And the first is that I think a smart city is a city that recognizes its challenges and owns those challenges. The city of Austin is a magical city. It is a wonderful place. It is the fastest growing metropolitan area in the country, has been for the last 5 years, #1 on many lists. But at the same time, we have pretty significant challenges. Austin is the most economically segregated city in the country. We have health outcomes that are determined by zip code in our city. Our children of color, almost half of them are living in poverty. And we have to address those challenges. And those challenges didn't just happen to us. Government was in part responsible for those. In 1928, we had a city plan that set different portions of our community to different places in the city. We segregated our city. And then we doubled down on that when we built an interstate highway through the middle of our city that went down that dividing line. And it sits there today. We need to take a look at innovation as a way to be able to address those challenges. So the first thing is you have to recognize and own those challenges. And then the second, to be a smart city, you have to have the capacity to be able to deal with those challenges with technology. You have to have the capacity, which means you have to have the culture. Austin is a creative, innovative, and entrepreneurial city. You know, we were the city where Cars2Go launched its North American operation. Twitter actually had its effective launch in Austin. Ride Scout actually had an app that was beginning to aggregate real early in the process that we have in this city. Google chose Austin as its first city outside of California to bring its autonomous vehicles. We're a city that is all about innovation. Austin is where ideas go to become real. Austin is 7% of the Texas population, but we represent 1/3 of the patents in the state. We represent half of the venture capital. We have more startups per capita in the city of Austin than any city in the country except for one. We have that culture in our city and the capacity to be able to be a smart city. And that gets us to the third thing, and Mr. Secretary, I think this is a real important one. Because you have to have a city that approaches being smart and mobility and technology and in its challenge application in a very broad way. You're a mayor, and you know that the complicated challenges we have in our country are not things that are susceptible of easy solutions. You want to fix poverty? Well, you know you have to do education, but you can do education really well and not impact that because it's not just about education. It's about jobs, and it's about safety, and it's about amenities, and it's about healthcare access. Well, the same thing is true about smart cities. You need a proposal and a challenge in the city that's ready to give you a breadth of opportunities to test things and to try things. You know, a smart city is not just about an electric bus rapid transit or an autonomous bus rapid transit in a corridor. A smart city is not about autonomous vehicle that's being tested and planned as a shuttle at an airport so it can be scaled to be the first and last mile solution in our neighborhoods. A smart city is not about smart stations that connect underserved populations with mobility options. A smart city is not just creating safe corridors by connecting vehicles. It's not allowing residents and visitors to be able to plan and pay for a connected trip with one app at one time. It's not about even creating a mobility innovation center that has intelligent sensors coordinating data, leading into an open data rodeo available to entrepreneurs and to everyone to be able to use that data. It is about more than fueling urban studies and policy research. It is about none of those things because it is about all of those things. And a smart city needs to be prepared to be able to approach on multifacets. If you're serious about this challenge actually being one that addresses problems in a community, and if you're going to measure it based on its ability to give you results, then I would suggest you need an application that does all of those things. And Austin's application does all of those things and more. It's talking about mobility everywhere it touches. Everywhere it touches anyone in the city or should touch anyone in the city. It's not about a particular idea, it's about an approach. It's not about technology, it is about an approach to technology, which means culture, which means it starts with the people. And our proposal does. It's those challenges. And that's why in our community, it's not about what we anticipate everybody in the community needs. It's about listening really closely to people to find out what it is that they want. That's what our proposal's about. That's why it also includes things like the Smart Trips program, about the special ambassadors. It's multilingual communications that goes across digital divides. That's what our proposal is about. A smart city in mobility, the Health and Human Services think about mobility, and the mobility department begins with Health and Human Services. Austin is a city that recognizes the problems, it has the capacity, and it has the right approach. You know, beyond that, we're putting skin in the game. Our state has committed $10 million to us, and I think it's going to grow to $50 for the regional traffic management plan. Our state senator has just announced a path for $250 million to be able to finally lower I-35 as it goes through the middle of our city. We're talking about our partners that have come to the table with $50 million, and our city, I hope, is going to have a bond election recommended by me and the manager this November to put $40 million on Riverside Corridor, which is one of the most congested roads in a formerly segregated community that will soon become the smartest road in the entire country. Secretary, when I ran for my office, and I'm a relatively new mayor, a year ago, I ran saying that mobility and affordability were intertwined, and we had to solve them both to solve either of them. This has been my issue. It is my priority. And it is that way because it is crucial to the city of Austin, Texas. It is our spirit and soul which is on the line right now, a city at a tipping point, and we have to deliver in this area. Your challenge has come at exactly the right time in exactly what the priority is in our city. I think that if you'll partner with the city of Austin, we can deliver to you the smart city that you have been looking to find. Thank you.
From the Northwest United States, Portland, Oregon.
I'm Nicole Watson, and I am a 5th grade teacher here at Jason Lee. Jason Lee is on 92nd and Halsey. The main artery is 82nd, which kind of makes it dangerous. People fly down 82nd. I've been really interested in commuting by bike. Unfortunately, it just isn't safe. It's not that folks don't want to, I just don't think that it's within their reach.
My name is Tina. I have been in Portland 4 years. I work downtown at the Westin Portland Hotel. I have to leave 2 hours earlier at 6 a.m. to go to the bus stop. And if bus late, I'm late to work too. You can be late always. Later you can get fired. Downtown is very good. They have streetcar, they have Max. East side or South East side is only bus. And too much traffic, too much car.
When a child can't cross a street safely to get to a school, or a woman needs an hour and a half on the bus to get to a job 10 miles away, we're failing those residents.
This is why UB Mobile PDX was born. It's a technology platform that allows Portlanders to find and compare all of the transportation options available to them.
This is an innovation that takes advantage of emerging smart infrastructure so that you can see the speed, cost, safety, environmental and health outcomes for each trip you need to take.
A diverse group of organizations has come together to build UB Mobile PDX. From the faith community to equity champions, policy experts, academic institutions, and leading Portland businesses.
My name is Orlando Simpson. My company is City of Roses Disposal and Recycling. We have a collection fleet, so I'm looking at innovative technologies that'll minimize the fear that our drivers hold when they're driving. Having bikes on one side and a pedestrian on another side, especially in very dense areas, it's a lot of risk and they carry a lot of fear with them. But if we can utilize some of these technologies that allow sensors to identify when there's humans close or vehicles close or trees that are close, then it actually provides a little bit more relief for our drivers and hence provides more of an efficiency within our business.
This project is about more than just technology, and it's about more than transportation. How we move around the city has profound impacts for our health, for our safety, and our quality of life.
Working together, we'll expand access to transportation that will make a real difference in people's lives.
And we'll build a better city for all. To learn more, visit ubmobilepdx.com.
Mayor Charlie Hills.
Portland, practically perfect Portland. I mean, come on, there's a big reason not to pick Portland for this assignment as prototyper for the nation. I mean, we're so different. We're so unique. The first climate action plan in the country, adopted in 1993 when I was a new city commissioner with dark brown hair. A large and growing light rail system, the highest bicycle mode split in the country, car share before most people knew the word, the first modern streetcar in America. Aerial trams as a transportation solution, and $13 billion of transit-oriented development. But wait, a lot of cities are doing those things now, and many of them better than Portland. And a lot of Portland isn't what the New York Times writes about. So here's what's actually special about Portland. There was a time, not long ago, when Portland was pretty much like everywhere else. Auto-dependent, with most of our downtown and surface parking lots, bad air quality, 115 days over the threshold in 1979. Prosperity hemorrhaging to the suburbs, concentrated communities of color who bore the brunt of urban renewal. What did we do? We led the way in the American urban renaissance. And in so doing, we developed some habits of the heart of innovation, equity, and collaboration that have served us well and have served the nation. These aren't just themes that we picked for this project, but deeply established civic values. Early in that urban renaissance, my friend Jim Kunstler published The Geography of Nowhere. Remember that book? A polemical blast on suburbia. And he wrote a chapter about Portland. The first sentence was, "Can this be America?" Now, I'm proud that in transportation innovation, we've become the best European city in America. But here's the key, though. That was then. We've been there and done that. Here's why Portland is the right choice to deliver as the prototyper for the nation now. Because for this project, we haven't gone to the Portlandia Portland. We've very carefully focused on the geography of everywhere. Every American city has streets like 82nd Avenue and 122nd, where it's all about the car. Every American city has the challenge of moving Division 0 on increasingly crowded streets. We all have bike-truck conflicts, like the right hook crash that killed Tracy Sparling 200 feet from my office. Every city has responsible business people like Orlando who never want to get that call from their employee. Every American city has professional women like Nicole who'd like to bike to work, but don't think it's safe. And every American city is quickly becoming more diverse, with thousands of new residents like Tina who want to climb the ladder of opportunity but have to commute an hour and a half before they can put their hand on the first rung. No other city is set up to collaborate like we are. No other city has anything like First Stop Portland, a collaboration begun in 2007 between Portland State University, the city, TriMet, our MPO, and the private sector to foster knowledge exchanges about sustainability, smart growth, and multimodal transportation. 241 delegations from 205 cities, 39 countries, every continent in the world except for Antarctica. And if penguins could fly, they'd come too. No other city has institutionalized knowledge sharing like Portland has. No other city has exercised a new implementation tool like we will use for UB Mobile PDX. That is a nonprofit corporation like Portland Streetcar Inc., or Portland Aerial Tram Inc., or Pioneer Courthouse Square Inc., a nonprofit board with public sector, private sector, and community representation that leverages, delivers, and stewards improvements in the public realm in a model that can add value anywhere in the country. No other city has the collaborative relationship with the tech community that we have, a strong open source community where the wiki was invented and where when we hold a public sector hackathon, hundreds of transportation tech geeks show up to participate. But there's more. PSU's incubator launched Globe Sherpa that became Ride Scout and is now part of Daimler's Movil enterprise. We worked through the difficult issues of the sharing economy so that when Bill de Blasio had a head-on collision with Uber, he called me. And when Airbnb wanted to locate their North American headquarters, they put it in Portland. But there's more. Our economic development agency enabled a young, recently homeless African-American entrepreneur to start noappfee.com, allowing people who most need to save money on an apartment to do so by not paying multiple application fees. Now, Tyrone Poole is paying it forward, thanking the city that's helped him by linking NoAppFee's deep housing data with UB Mobile's transportation data to give people clear information about the interaction between their transportation and their housing costs. No other city has learned how to carry partnerships with the US DOT across multiple administrations like Portland has. Our light rail system has been built over 8 mayoral administrations, our streetcar over 4, and with 6 different transportation commissioners. Mayors come and go, but a focus on innovation, equity, and collaboration is something that you can count on for the long run when you partner with Portland. So past is prologue. Portland is consistently collaborative, not just in transportation. On housing, we all recently got together as West Coast mayors to roll up our sleeves and work together with Secretary Castro the same way. It's what we do. Mayor Lee, you're right, it's what we do. And we don't just do it in this project, and that's why, of course, we've invited Detroit and the other, Detroit, Richmond, New Orleans, Seattle, and Los Angeles to join with us as well. We also partner with the private sector, like Daimler Freightliner, that builds 40% of the over-the-road trucks in America in Portland. That's right, we don't just make beer and bicycles, we make trucks. And they're gonna prototype an autonomous truck in the Columbia Corridor, testing that technology with us. We'll take the benefits of this innovation first to the people and the places in our cities that need them the most, bridging that digital divide. So Portland may be unique after all. That is, we're uniquely set up to be that innovative prototyper again, this time intentionally from the beginning, using technology and transportation in a big, bold, shared way to address the common challenges of American cities, a geography of everywhere that is both cultural and physical. Mr. Secretary, friends, we can do this. The Smart Cities Challenge is the US DOT working smarter, setting off a virtuous competition among friends and colleagues. We can do this because Portland has reliably fostered those habits of innovation, equity, and collaboration. And if you select us to lead a team of rivals to change the American city again, we will. Thank you very much.
The city of Kansas City, Missouri.
Welcome to Kansas City. Our population pulses between 500,000 and 2 million as commuters flow through our arteries every day, the lifeblood of the city. Every day, lives are connected, barriers are broken down, stories intertwined. It all starts as the sun rises. Alejandro once struggled to get to work. He no longer has to run across a busy interstate to reach the nearest bus stop. Now, he has so many options. All are convenient and make him feel a deeper connection to the city he's lived in all his life. Brittany uses one of KC's unique smart Wi-Fi kiosks to find a job. A job she'll get to by taking one of the buses in the city's growing fleet of clean electric vehicles. A job that will give her and her kids a better quality of life, finally allowing her to support her family in a way she never thought possible. All across KC, connected cars and smart traffic lights make the streets safer. Midday brings with it an intermingling of people from all walks of life. Unique alternatives to the car make it easy and fun to explore the city, discover local restaurants, enjoy new experiences. An autonomous vehicle takes Quentin to the West Bottoms and Prospect areas where he meets potential investors in his revitalization plan. Investors who arrive from the airport thanks to a semi-autonomous shuttle. In what has historically been a disadvantaged part of town, Keisha and her brother Marcus study after school. Their neighborhood's mobile learning lab gives them safe access to the internet and other learning tools. As day melts into evening, people no longer rush home. Gabriella, who is visually impaired, enjoys a night on the town without the need for a costly living assistant thanks to voice-responsive wayfinding technology, making her feel self-sufficient for the first time in her life. And road diets bring a small-town feel to the big city, encouraging people like Rich and Vicky to keep their cars parked, taking a leisurely bike ride, hopping a streetcar, browsing local shops, enjoying a show. All while ShotSpotter technology helps stop crime before it spreads, making the entire city feel as safe and inviting as the suburbs. Tomorrow is a new day. Thanks to smart city initiatives, Kansas City is turning barriers into byways to success, closing digital divides, breaking down physical divides, reducing socioeconomic divides. It makes sense that it should all happen here, a city that straddles state borders, a city at the crossroads of history and historic change, a city that truly is the heart of America.
Mayor Sly James.
Very much. Mr. Secretary, first of all, let me thank you for showing a big vision, a vision that recognizes that if we are going to move this country forward in terms of infrastructure, mobility, and transit, that has to start at the cities. You as a former mayor know that mayors matter. Thank you for that. Thanks you or your team for this unique opportunity. But I'm also part of a team. And I want to recognize the team that got us here. Bob Bennett, Kate, Jason, please stand, be recognized for the work that you've done. I also want to thank those who are watching at home who have involved themselves in this, because we wouldn't be here if we hadn't done what we always do in Kansas City, and that's collaborate. We've learned a long time ago that by working together, we can go far. You know, when I was elected in 2011, the first thing that happened is that we, along with Kansas City, Kansas, became the first cities in the world to receive Google 1 gigabit fiber to the home. And when we got that, we found out some things about ourselves. But the one thing that we decided was that we could not stop there. We looked at it as a series of opportunities for us to build upon that in order to do things that would enhance the lives of our citizens. So I want to make sure that as I move into the discussion about our proposal, that we recognize that every single thing that we've talked about, every approach that we are taking is for one single purpose, and that is to enhance the lives of the people who live in our city. This isn't about technology, it's not about streets, it's about people. And everything that we've done and everything that we've targeted will have an impact on the lives of people in our community. So when we got Google and we realized that we could go farther, the first thing that we did was we got our streetcar plan and we started moving on that. But we weren't satisfied just to have the streetcar. We wanted to make the streetcar a smart and connected city partner. So we embedded the spine of smart and connected cities along the streetcar route. for the sole purpose of making sure that our passengers and people riding the streetcar would be connected by an umbrella of Wi-Fi, regardless of where they were. That they would be able to get off the streetcar and address one of the kiosks that are there that look like big iPads and find out all sorts of information. Is there a job opening someplace I can apply for? Is there a place where I can go get something to eat? What's going on in the schedule of this city? Is there a place where I can take my children? So we did all of that, and those kiosks are there for those folks to use. But we're also collecting data and information. We have sensors in the lights that control the lighting so that we're being efficient with money of our taxpayers. That also tells us when something is going on in the ground so our police can respond. The cameras in the kiosks will allow for interactivity in that regard. But it's not enough to simply have it in one part of town. So recognizing what your goals were in your proposal, sir, we wanted to make sure that we addressed every single one. We've reduced your multiple goals into 3 distinct pillars. But those 3 distinct pillars are interconnected, just like everything has to be. So, first pillar, ladders of opportunity. Opportunities to those who are previously shut out. Now, we recognize that in the Prospect Corridor of Kansas City on the east side, opportunity was sparse. It's the epicenter of sparse. I grew up in that epicenter of sparse, where people are low income, undereducated, die quicker than they should for one reason or another, whether it's violence or poor health care, but they are shut out of opportunities. So we're focusing a lot of our efforts in that Prospect Corridor. And we'll do that by using our second pillar, autonomous electric connected vehicles. And we have the Prospect Max bus line, which will run 7.2 miles to the north and south, and then connect east and west going over into the downtown area so that everybody is now connected. That bus line will be run by electric buses. At every bus stop, there will be electric in-ground charging stations so that as the buses sit there and exchange passengers, it will charge so that it will run faster and farther. There will be Wi-Fi on that. There will be kiosks. But the kiosks won't just be about exchanging basic information. Those kiosks will tell people on that bus and people in that area the story of the Prospect Corridor and the history of that corridor so that we can become connected in terms of our knowledge of each other. We'll also have and employ autonomous vehicles along that line and also, but going east and west into the West Bottoms and other routes. Autonomous buses will take people from the west side to the east side into the West Bottoms and also out to the airport. All of these things will be interconnected. There'll also be mobility hubs so that there will be opportunities for people who want to take advantage of bike share, ride share, all sorts of other options, trails, walking paths, etc., will be located in the same route. We'll starve 9 miles of roads for bike lanes and protect those bike lanes. We will do all of these things because it is in the best interest of our people. Now, there's a lot of great cities here. I am honored to be among these cities. I'm honored to have Kansas City be among these cities. They are all led by dynamic and good mayors. I'm honored to be their friend and to share information with them. We'll continue to share information with them, win, lose, or draw, because that's what this is all about, making the lives of citizens better. So one thing I will tell you, Mr. Secretary, working with us is no gamble. We've been there, done that. Our process from ideation to implementation is on display. We've done it with the Smart City, Smart and Connected City. We're the largest smart and connected city in the entire North American continent. We're one of 5 cities selected by IEEE in the entire world. So we know what we're doing. It's not a gamble. Selecting us would be a big win for our team, be a big win for your team, but it'd be a catalytic win for the people of Kansas City and for others who want to come. We will work with whoever wants to come and work with us to share information, to build the city of tomorrow as a smart city. But a smart city has to first and foremost make sure that it is smart as it relates to those residents. And that's what we're all about. That's what we're all about in Kansas City. That's why you should work with us. Now, they say Kansas City is the heart of America. The people of Kansas City are the blood of that heart. And that's why I'm standing here with you today. And that's why Kansas City should be your selection.
Denver, Colorado.
Hi, I'm Denver Mayor Michael Hancock. Denver is a city of pioneers. We are dreamers and problem solvers, and we value being connected. From our airport to our rail system, we've made bold investments.
My name is Stuart Tucker Lundy, and when I have good transportation and technology, I thrive as a person with a disability. Not only as a person with a disability, I thrive as a human being. It allows me to go any place I want to in my city, to be a part of my city.
Today, Denver is a fast-growing city and a major transportation hub. But rapid growth creates problems, like traffic congestion and pollution. And for some residents, transportation connections have actually become barriers.
I really want to see in my city better access and transportation. We need more opportunities to have better education, better jobs, better access to different programs around the city, and specific for low-income communities.
Together, we are creating a future that gives everyone mobility freedom. We've developed a smart city plan that builds on our foundation of partnership and innovation, giving all residents access to reliable, affordable, and flexible mobility options. Our plan starts with creating an intelligent data ecosystem. This living data engine will gather information and make it available to anyone who wants it. Then, we will establish a new mobility marketplace that eliminates barriers and gives everyone access to more and better choices. Our plan will make electric vehicles more practical and will work to ensure those cars are powered by clean, renewable energy. Finally, our smart city plan will improve safety, efficiency, and reliability by ushering in a new era of connected vehicle technology and ultimately paving the way for driverless cars. Together, these innovations in transportation and technology will transcend the barriers of the past, reconnecting communities and strengthening the fabric of our city. They will create a smart network that can be exported to any city, a network that will empower people with opportunities to succeed in whatever they choose to do, wherever they choose to go.
Mayor Michael Hancock.
Let me join the chorus of well-deserved thanks to Secretary Fox, to Vulcan Foundation, of course, and all the sponsoring organizations, and to the Review Committee. Denver is proud and honored to be here. Congratulations to the finalist cities as well, to the mayors, my friends. Certainly, without a doubt, this competition has transformed each and every one of our cities as we look forward to the future. I said it in the video, but I'm going to say it again. Denver is a city of pioneers. We are dreamers, and we are problem solvers. At every critical juncture in our history, Denver has made bold decisions about transportation. Let me give you some examples. In 1869, just 11 years after the founding of our great city, the people of Denver were threatened with irrelevancy. They saw the Transcontinental Railroad bypassing Denver going up through Cheyenne. And so together, amongst themselves, they collected $1 million with their own tools in their own hands. They trenched the earth, laid rail, and connected to that Transcontinental Railroad up in Cheyenne, putting Denver dead smack in the middle of the transcontinental trade. In 1929, as they sensed the change in mobility from trains to planes, Denver boldly decided to build Stapleton Municipal Airport. And in 1995, Denver seeing itself as a globally competitive city, we partnered with the U.S. Department of Transportation to build Denver International Airport. Today, the largest airport in this country and one of the busiest airports in the world. And in 2004, an unprecedented move, 41 regional mayors came together to encourage the voters of the region to pass a $5 billion bond to build a regional rail network. Just 2 months ago, we inaugurated the direct rail line from Denver downtown to our Denver International Airport. In just 2 months, 17,000 people are riding that train on a daily basis. That's 17,000 people who are no longer in cars. Today, we find ourselves at another critical juncture. We can keep doing things the old way, or we can do as we have in the past and pioneer our future with a bold vision and smarter solutions. Denver has become one of the fastest growing cities in this country. I like to say the good news is that the secret of Denver is out. The bad news is the secret of Denver is out. And this unprecedented growth is putting unprecedented demands on our roads, housing, and our environment. While Denver's economy is strong, one of the strongest in the country, we still have huge income, education, and equity gaps. 30 to 40% of our population is low income. In some neighborhoods, nearly 80% of the people living there are living below the poverty line. Our smart city proposal will create connections and ladders of opportunity for everyone, especially our long overlooked and underserved communities. We will deliver mobility, freedom, and safe connections to all people regardless of their age, income, or ability. Here's how we're going to do it. First, our entire proposal is fueled by a powerful data engine. It's like a data lake. We're going to have thousands of sources of information streaming in and swimming around. Our goal is to capture it, to organize it, secure it, and make it available to anyone who wants to use it. We'll pull in data from the transit district, the police department, from the state, from companies like Uber, Lyft, and Car2Go. 20 cities, including Washington, D.C., Seattle, and Boston, have already said they want our model. It's revolutionary, kind of like the internet and the smartphone and the cloud used to be. Next, we'll get all this information into the hands of residents. We'll create a universal mobility marketplace where people can shop for reliable, real-time options in one easy place. People will be able to choose and pay for any and all modes of transportation through one smartphone app or one smart card. 5 years ago, we inaugurated this card for our children and youth in Denver. Today, over 100,000 children and youth in our city have access to this card. This grant will help us to expand the availability and functionality of this card. This card will work for all transportation services in all neighborhoods for all people, and even those who don't have a phone, who are unbanked, and who don't have credit cards. Next, we're going to deliver clean transportation using clean energy. As you may already know, transportation is the #1 source of pollution in Denver, and that falls most heavily on underserved communities. So we're going to partner with our transit district to buy 9 electric buses that will serve some of those neighborhoods. We're going to buy 100 electric vehicles for our city's fleet. And we're going to install 400 charging stations citywide, and we're going to incentivize the purchase of thousands of electric vehicles for large fleets and individual consumers. Finally, Denver's Smart City Plan will create the most connected, intelligent, and automated infrastructure in the country. We'll partner with companies like Panasonic to deploy driverless shuttles at major transit developments. And we will use technology to create one of the most efficient freight corridors that will help ease pollution, noise, and traffic burdens in Denver's most underserved communities. Yes, in Denver, when it comes to transportation, we have problems. We have unsafe streets, congestion, and pollution. But with this grant, we will deliver solutions for everyone. We will create a mobility network that provides ladders of opportunity and begins to knit communities back together. We will be the place that connects all people to jobs, health care, healthy food, education, and to one another. Let me close with this brief anecdote. Most recently, I was touring a new mixed income apartment complex in Denver. As I walked down the hallway, I saw a young man walking out with his backpack. His name is Mario. He was 20 years old. I stopped Mario and I said, where are you going? He says, I'm headed out the back here to get on light rail to go to college, 2 miles away. It's those kind of connections and opportunities that we define the ladders of opportunity, and this grant's going to help us to leverage. Denver will be that place where smart data and smart technology come together to provide smart freedom, or mobility freedom, for everyone. We will become the model throughout the nation. Again, thank you, Secretary Fox, and thank all of you for this opportunity. We're proud to be here.
Ladies and gentlemen, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Chances are, you've heard some things about us. We're the ones who shoveled iron ore into the blast furnaces and ran our streetlights during the day. We did the unglamorous work that helped build the nation, and we've got the scars to prove it. Sure, we've got a reputation. The way we see it, we've got a reputation to uphold. Yeah, steel will always be a part of our identity, but really, it's innovation that's in our DNA. From steamboats to glass to steel to aluminum, Pittsburgh was always at the forefront of innovation. We created the modern highway system. We powered the first nuclear submarine. When the steel industry famously turned our city into hell with the lid off, we set about to clean up, instituting the first clean air regulations of their kind. We know a thing or two about looking challenges in the eye and seeing opportunities. Hills, rivers, and valleys forced our 55 square miles into an unruly tangle of roads and bridges. Out of that grew 90 distinct neighborhoods. Some have prospered with the city's ups and downs. Others haven't had a seat at the table. In the past, progress for some meant decline for others. As city residents fled to the suburbs, we cut highways through the hearts of vibrant communities, leaving large swaths of our diverse population isolated. Maybe there were times we forgot what we stood for, but we always come back stronger. We're still creating industries, but this time around we're using 21st century technology and engineering to get us there. Universities, nonprofits, and businesses are working together to build robots, cure diseases, and design better products. And we're just getting started. With Smart PGH, we're at the cusp of the next revolution in transportation and information technology that has the potential to have huge impacts on the way we live. We're deploying the most advanced traffic signals in the world to move people, bikes, and vehicles both faster and safer. These signals actually learn, and they're made right here at home. We're rolling out smart streetlights with sensors that communicate with traffic and even monitor air quality. We're building new infrastructure for autonomous and electric vehicles and charging them without fossil fuels. And this time, we're putting people first, training our residents for the jobs of the future, and working on the ground in every neighborhood to make certain these technologies are actually making people's lives better. Smart PGH isn't simply our next project, it's our next chance. A chance to chart a course, to bridge the gaps between ourselves, a chance to be the blueprint for other cities like us. We're thinkers and doers. It's what's allowed us to bounce back, to shake off the rust and keep moving. Our hard-working ethic, our spirit of innovation, those aren't going anywhere. But this time around, we've made the decision, if it's not for all, it's not for us.
Mayor William Peduto.
I'm going to be telling you a little story today. First off, Mr. Secretary, again, thank you, but I'll be the one to say it. I am not envious of your job. And to your team for putting this all together. You raised the bar not only for our cities, but for this country and this world. I got to give a shout out to Team Pittsburgh. Guys, thank you. I know you poured your heart into it, but it's been an honor, and I am so proud of you. I got up this morning and I was thinking about two things, this speech and the Penguins playing for the Stanley Cup. And I started thinking about a statement that Howard Cosell said. Howard Cosell had a statement. It was, when you go against the Pittsburgh Steelers, you go against all of Pittsburgh. And that really is a part of what Pittsburgh's story is. We're a team. I mean, it's almost kind of strange. It's almost like a high school. We all have the same color of our uniforms. We all celebrate sports in a way that's sort of like high school, but we are a team in the city. And that came about really through difficult times. About 70 years ago, we created the first of its kind partnerships between city government and corporate America. And they set out to, as the video showed, clean the air, clean the water, and start to build out this new city. But a lot of their plans were plans that were based upon urban renewal through the wrecking ball. And we went into historic neighborhoods and we knocked them down, and we built roadways through them that separated neighborhoods from prosperity. You know, back then it was an older economy, and trying to be able to be a part of it meant getting product to market. You had to get big steel, whether it was through the roads or the rivers or the rails. Well, today we need to fix that. And 70 years later, we have the opportunity to heal that and reconnect these communities and build out a new model of economics, which is getting people to workplace. We've been working over the past 35 years to dig out of a second problem. You know, it was 1979, to use another sports analogy, that Pittsburgh was the city of champions. The Steelers won the Super Bowl, Pirates won the World Series, and Pittsburgh died. Our city died. We went through economic collapse. In over 35 years, we did what we know how to do. We reinvented ourselves and pulled together as a team to be able to create where we are now. And it's kind of interesting because the mills never left. They just moved up the hills. They're called Carnegie Mellon, the University of Pittsburgh, UPMC, Allegheny West Penn. And they've become the centers of employment. But they've been joined by Microsoft and Intel and Disney and Oculus and Apple and Bosch and Tata and Google and Uber, who have all created their global innovation centers in this new part of Pittsburgh. And we see that growth that's continuing to happen through innovation. And what I can tell you is, for the first time in 40 years, the future is bright for the city of Pittsburgh, except for the 25% of the city that have no connection to it. The 25% that we use this term, the ladders of opportunity, that aren't a part of it and don't have an opportunity to be a part of it. The decisions that were made 70 years ago isolated and disconnected these communities and disconnected the opportunity from people. The economic collapse of 35 years ago basically made the situation even worse. But Pittsburgh is the resilient city. We look at challenges square in the face, and we work together as a team. A new partnership has been born. And this new partnership is built off the principles of what we call P4: people, planet, performance, and place. In the city and the county work together, not against each other. And our partner in the state works with us. Through our county executive, Rich Fitzgerald, and our state governor, Tom Wolf, we've been able to build a great partnership. With our federal representatives, it's one team. And that corporate relationship is still there, and it's built with labor as well. But now the new partnership has our nonprofits, our institutions, and our foundations. The foundations that kept our head above the water during those difficult times, all together to see a new mission. Our message, very simple: if it's not for all, it's not for us. 21st century transportation must be multimodal. We understand that. But it's not about transportation. It's also about social mobility as well. Our plan reconnects the neighborhoods that were cut off. It creates corridors of this opportunity to meet the demands of where our economy is headed. 70 years ago, as I said, it was about getting that big steel to market. But today we have the opportunity to collect these new workplaces and get people to them. The new partnerships add on different layers. Not only these corridors or spines of transportation, part of it, but underneath, energy, in creating direct energy programs that were modeled with the Department of Energy to be the model of direct energy in this country. In other words, affordable housing isn't just about the rent, it's about the utility bills and the transportation bills as well. Our plan rights the wrongs that we made years ago and gives us the opportunity to set up the city that we want to be. Our plan capitalizes on the partnership with Carnegie Mellon, implementing the most advanced traffic systems and traffic signalizations already being utilized in the world, but it enhances upon that as well, where these signals not only will learn how to learn traffic patterns, but will also work with sensor detection in order to make it even more efficient. Our streetlights will not only save energy, but they'll be able to talk to one another while talking to vehicles as well. And it provides opportunities for all. Like we said before, people with needs will be able to safely cross streets, not by going up and trying to find where the button is, but they will know that they are there just by carrying their cell phone and the added time to cross the street. And our homeless community will be given opportunities to connect with public transit for free to be able to get to the needs that they will need and to be able to do so in real time. Our plan builds off our corridors by creating electric avenues. These will pilot autonomous vehicles that will be powered by electricity produced without fossil fuel. What does that mean for a city like Pittsburgh, where the majority of our energy is fossil fuel? We'll be able to create these new district energies to not be able to have to rely upon it. It will also give other cities that are like us, the ones that are learning to crawl, not the ones that are already running, the opportunity to say, hey, if Pittsburgh can do that with electric vehicles, so can we. Most importantly, Smart Pittsburgh creates opportunity for jobs, good jobs, creating, building, and maintaining these new structures through 21st century infrastructure. Beyond CMU and Pitt, we're partnering with Community College of Allegheny County and the Energy Innovation Center to make sure these jobs are in the areas that need it the most. Mr. Secretary, thank you. This is the chance to design, plan, and build the next Pittsburgh. We stand ready to implement this plan. We have proven time and again that we can do anything because we work as a team. And we look forward to standing once again on that world stage when it comes to looking at cities that are leaders of innovation.
Our last pitch this afternoon comes from Columbus, Ohio. Mayor Andrew Ginther.
Good afternoon. In the beginning, there were 78. Now there are 7. And I'm a little biased, but I'm going to share with you why Columbus is the one. It's an honor to be with you here today, and I want to recognize the amazing Columbus team. Would you join me in giving them a round of applause? Secretary Fox and your team, thank you. Thank you for challenging all of us. The great part about this entire exercise is there are 78 cities in America that now have plans to move their cities forward in a way that never would have happened without the leadership and commitment of Secretary Fox. So thank you. The vision for Smart Columbus is pretty simple. How do we use transportation to improve people's lives? Or answer a more basic question, how do we harness and leverage technology and innovation to improve the quality of life of our residents? There are three words that really reinforce our entire proposal: commitment, collaboration, and community. Commitment. We're all in. The city, the county, the state, the entire region, the private sector, institutions of higher education are all committed to help us execute our plan and deliver results for the people of Columbus. I'm honored today that a great partner of ours, Alex Fisher, who's the president and CEO of the Columbus Partnership, is here. Because I called Alex when I got the news in beautiful Austin with Mayor Adler at South by Southwest to let us know that we were one of the finalists. And Alex mentioned to me, who heads up all the leading corporate higher education institutions in our community, $50 million could really be a great catalyst for this community. Well, what if I went to public and private sector leaders locally and said, let's match it? Well, $90 million on top of the $50 million award potentially. I don't know, Mr. Secretary, there are great cities here. But $140 million can truly, truly transform Columbus and take you the distance towards embracing the goals and mission of the Smart City Challenge. There's unprecedented collaboration in our region. Over 200 organizations from all over Central Ohio have supported our application and our program in moving forward. We have significant private commitment so that when we're investing in charging stations in public areas, our private sector leaders will be doing it on private parking lots and in corporate centers at the same time, continuing to leverage resources to bring about greater good. Collaboration. It's been coined by the Harvard Business School as the Columbus Way. They actually teach a class at the Harvard Business School on the Columbus Way, because Columbus has become recognized as the best place in America, a best practice for public-private partnerships that have helped to transform our city and lift up families and neighborhoods throughout our great community. Because that is ultimately what it's all about, lifting up families and neighborhoods in our cities. We are lucky to have The Ohio State University, one of the largest land-grant institutions and great center of research and innovation, as well as Battelle, one of the largest innovation and research centers of the world, as our key partners, along with American Electric Power, making a record investment in a smart grid for the future, as well as our great partners at Limited Brands and corporations from across the community. The last is some of the most important. The last word is community. We have a great track record of committing to restorative infrastructure investments that have helped reconnect neighborhoods who have been left out of the success story that is Columbus. We want to take that same track record as we move forward with the Smart Columbus plan to make sure that we're connecting the disconnected and using those ladders of opportunity to realize shared prosperity throughout our community. One of the poorest and most challenged neighborhoods in our entire city is a key pilot as part of our proposal, because we know that when we tackle the first mile and the last mile with the challenges the residents of Lindens face, we can take that to neighborhoods throughout our great city. And as we know, America is the test capital of the entire United States. Whether it's hamburgers or politics, if it sells in Columbus, you can sell it anywhere. And our belief is the models and lessons learned from Columbus can help to change this country. We are building America's opportunity city in Columbus. Our vision is to have the largest middle class of any city our size in the country, the place you're more likely to go from poverty to the middle class and beyond than anywhere else. We're building America's opportunity city in Columbus. We're ready to be America's first smart city. So, Mr. Secretary, let's get started.
That was really amazing, and I think we want to ask the mayors to all come up. We're going to have a little bit of a group and just give everyone a hand. Why don't you...
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I want to thank all of our sponsors for this wonderful day. I certainly want to thank all of the teams from the various cities. Some of you have been thanked, but all of you should be thanked for the great work you've done. You guys, these are my former colleagues from back in the day, and I thought I liked you guys until you all did great presentations. Now you made our job really hard. So thank you for the great work you've done. Let me also thank the U.S. Department of Transportation team that's been working on this. If you all would just stand up and be recognized for the great work you've been doing. I think you've seen how innovative our cities can be. And I guess in closing, what I'd like to say is that our country, one of the great things about America is that we've made so many things possible. And I don't want to sugarcoat the challenges we face in transportation, but you can't disaggregate those from the challenges we face in our larger society. The challenges of opportunity, the challenges of quality of life, the challenges of climate change, the challenges of building a 21st century economy, the challenges of reducing travel times, all of these are interconnected, and what you've seen are 7 great examples of how communities want to take those challenges on. And if this Smart City Challenge means anything, it means that the future of America is bright when we force ourselves to stop looking through the rearview mirror and look through the front windshield and go. So thank you so much. It's great to be with you, and we'll see how this works over the next several days. Good job. Thank you. Good job. Great job. Good job. Great job.
And please,
thank you. You got it.
And please join us for a reception here, and also to thanks to the 2,000 people who joined us online to view this. Keep tweeting at hashtag DOT Smart City and Smart City Pitch. Thank you all so much.